Back to my channel, Jeannie Lynch. So excited that you're here today and so excited to share my next topic with you. Tarot. Don't click out and think that's all I'm going to talk about today, but I am going to dive a little bit deeper into one aspect of tarot that I think can change your life, and it's the Fool's Journey. And did you know that there's a story inside of tarot, and it's the Fool as he starts his journey and where he lands when he finishes, which is the world, and how he starts it all over again, but at a higher level of consciousness? Kind of sounds like what we're here to do, doesn't it? Well, that's exactly why I want to talk about this today. I want to share that story with you and share with you the different archetypes. And if you've always wondered about tarot, or even if you're a study of tarot, and this is something you do to provide for your people, right? This is how you are in service to them. I assure you, learning the Fool's Journey really can help you uncover all the depth and all the mysteries of this beautiful modality of tarot. So, are you ready to hear a story that will change your life and certainly give you more consciousness and awareness? And I promise you, there are so many different experiences that if you haven't experienced yet, you will, because it's all about being in a physical body. The Fool's Journey is coming up next. Hey, thanks for staying clicked in. I'm so excited that you're willing to take this journey with me. And I want to go back and kind of tell you a little bit about, I have had this idea of doing the Fool's Journey in my head for 5 or 6 years. In fact, in my video queue, I think I've started this video 1,000 times. And it's such a big project in the sense that it takes a lot of energy to kind of bring it to you. So today's the day that I get to share that story with you. And I will tell you, when I first started my own opening and awakening and started this journey of tapping into my own intuition, the person who, my energy person, was working with me at the time to help me develop my intuition, my mentor, and suggested that I pick up a deck of oracle cards. I chose tarot, and I don't even know why at the time, because it all looked good to me, but I did choose tarot. And I think it was simple. Like, I think one of the cards reminded me of my daughter. It was the 8th card, by the way. So I'll show you that card, and here's what it looks like. So I was immersed and hooked right from that point. Well, when I got my deck and I got it home, the first thing I did, I don't know why, I really don't know if it was just me connecting to my intuition or laziness at the time. I don't remember. I remembered taking all the extra cards and going right for the meat and potatoes, which were the 22 archetypes, the 22 Major Arcana. The rest of the deck went in an envelope. I never looked at them again, and I just focused on the major. And I really got into just looking and studying those cards. And from that, I actually started doing readings, I think for 8 or 9 years, just using those cards. So if you're somebody who started with me in the very beginning, you would have had the Fool's Journey reading with me. And I don't know anyone else who was doing it this way. I just felt really led to these cards. So today, my intention is to read the Fool's Journey like a story and show you beautiful visuals and stuff. And if I told you that if you really wanted to uncover and learn about tarot, you could start with the Fool's Journey. In fact, I believe you could actually even stay in the Fool's Journey or end with a Fool's Journey as long as you really understood it. And the reason being is that there are 20 different archetypes. And let me set this up before I share this story with you. The Fool starts his journey, and he is a fool. He's a fool. He's a 0, right? So I'm going to give you the backdrop. He's brand new. He's a baby. He's out of the womb. He's just starting his experience. He's clueless, and he starts his journey. And he goes through each of these archetypes, and he stumbles upon and he meets. Sometimes in this story, he actually becomes the characters. And I'm going to let you know when that happens. And other times he just observes the characters, or he meets them and they teach him something that he needs to know. And then in other times he's witnessing it and they have an experience that he shares with them. So it goes back and forth from him being in the story, part of the story, of the world, out of the world, for the world, right? And observing it. And he goes through from a child to an adolescent, to an adult, to an elder, and so on. And again, really quick version of this so I can get you immersed in the work we're about to do. When he gets to the very end, he's at the world. And he's sitting down, and this whole experience comes to him where he realizes that he's learned all he needs to learn and he's there. Well, guess what happens at the very end? He gets up and he starts the whole damn journey all over again at a higher level of consciousness. And this is where I need your attention. This is what we do in our life, right? We learn the lesson and then we go, ooh, a little bit more. We might need a healing on forgiveness, and we get in there and we look at what is bothering us that we need to be healed on, and then we heal it. And then 5 years later, it kicks back up and we think, haven't I already dealt with that? It shows up again, but yet we realize we go a little bit deeper, right? When we're going deeper, what are we really doing? More consciousness. So that is the fool's journey. It's just his journey to consciousness, to full consciousness. And here's the truth. We're never there. We might end our life. We might die. We might go to the other side. We might be in between lives. See, these are some of the words you'll hear, right? And then we come back and we do it all over again. So we do that many times in this life, but we also do it through many lives, right? So that's the richness and the deepness of tarot, and certainly the fool's journey. So my offering to you today is, that's all I'm going to say on film. The rest is going to be read like a beautiful story. And I promise you, if you follow the fool's journey and you listen to the beautiful story that I'm about to share with you on each of the archetypes, and you apply them to your own life, this will change your life. That's my promise to you today. So, hey, here's a question. Are you ready to change your life? Okay, here we go. Stay listening, stay watching, stay connected, because that's the work we're doing today. We're exploring the fool's journey and all the beautiful archetypes and the lessons he experiences, and you will experience them too. Enjoy. By the time I finished editing this video, I realized it was too long for one sit. So I decided to break it up into a mini series. Today, you're watching the intro and the childhood aspect of the fool's journey. There'll be 2 other videos that will follow, the adolescence and adulthood. And I'm going to end with a beautiful interview with Maria Conclaves. She is a tarot expert. She's just written a book. She's going to come in and share that journey and that work with you. And I promise in this mini-series, you will learn so much from a fool. Enjoy. Bye now. The fool begins his journey like all journeys begin, with the first step. And with all his worldly possessions in his little pack, the fool travels, although he knows not where. He's so filled with the visions and the daydreams that he doesn't see the cliff that he's likely to fall over. At his heels is a small dog that hurries him, or is it just trying to warn him of the possible misstep? Traveling on his way, the fool first encounters a magician. Skillful, self-confident, and powerful is this archetype. With the infinity as his halo floating above his head, the magician mesmerizes the fool. When asked, the fool gives over his bundled pack and stick to the magician. Raising his wand to heaven and pointing his finger to earth, the magician calls on all his powers. Magically, the cloth and the pack unfold upon the table, revealing all its contents. And to the fool's eyes, it is the magician that has created the future with this one word. All the possibilities are laid out, all the directions he can take. the cool, airy sword of intellect and communication, the fairy wand of spirituality and ambition, the overflowing chalice of love and emotions, the solid pentacles of work and possessions and body. With these tools, the Fool can create anything, make anything of his life. But here's the question. Did the magician create these tools, or were they already in the Fool's pack? Next, the Fool continues his journey, and he comes upon a beautiful, mysterious veiled lady enthroned between two pillars and illuminated by the moon. She seems to be the opposite of the magician, quiet where he was gregarious, still when he was in motion, sitting when he stood, and shouldered in the night when the magician was out in the bright of day. She is the High Priestess, and she astonishes the Fool by knowing everything about him. "Since you know me so well, perhaps you can help me," says the Fool, laying out his sword, the chalice, the staff, and the pentacles. "The magician showed me these tools, but I'm in a quandary. There seems to be so many things that I could do with them. I can't decide." In answer, the High Priestess hands over to him a pair of ancient scrolls. "These will teach you how to decide," she says. Seating him at her feet, the Fool reads by the light of her crescent moon. Finally, the Fool knows enough that he can now decide where he wants to go, what he will do, and how he will move on. Though he suspects that the High Priestess has even more secrets she could teach him, like what lies beneath that pomegranate curtain. He is focused and ready to be on his way. Thanking the High Priestess, he heads off, but as soon as he leaves, he hears her whisper, quiet as the waters which bubble up beneath her throne. "We will meet again when you're ready to travel the most secret path of all," she whispers. Having decided what shape his future will take, the Fool strives forward. But at this point, he's very impatient. This is when he comes upon the Empress. Her hair is gold as wheat, wearing a crown of stars and a white gown dotted with pomegranates. She rests back on her throne, surrounded by all of her abundance of grain and lush garden. Is it possible that the Empress is pregnant? Kneeling, the Fool relates to her his story, and she in turn smiles a motherly smile and gently gives him this advice. "Like a newly planted grain or a child in the womb," she says, "a new life, a new love, a new creation is so fragile. It requires fertile soil, patience, and even nurturing. It needs love and attention. Only this will bring it to fruition." Understanding at last that his future will take time to build upon, the Fool thanks the Empress and continues on his way. The Fool was given many options by the magician and decided which one with the help from the High Priestess. He even learned how to develop it thanks to the Empress. But now he knows he needs to learn how to manage it. But just how is he going to do this? He approaches the great emperor seated on a stone throne. The Fool is amazed by the way that this leader seems to be instantly and eagerly obeyed in every particular way, and at how well his empire is run. Respectfully, he asks the emperor how he does this, and the emperor answers, "Strong will and a solid foundation is all very well," he explained to the Fool. "To be dreaming, creative, instinctual, and even patient, but to control, one must be alert, brave, and even aggressive." Ready now to lead rather than to be led, the Fool heads out with new purpose and direction as he thanks the emperor for his great advice. Having created a solid foundation in which to build his future, the Fool is struck with sudden fear. What if everything he's worked so hard from, he loses? What happens if it's stolen or lost or destroyed or vanishes? What if it's just not good enough? In this panic, he heads to a holy place where he finds the Hierophant, a wise teacher, a holy man, a sage. He kneels before this man. Ready to hear and pass on his teaching, the fool tells the Hierophant all his fears and asks how he can be free of them. There's only two ways, says the Hierophant sagely. Either give up all that you fear, to lose so it has no longer holds the power over you, or consider what you still have if your fear comes to pass. After all, the Hierophant continues, if you did lose it all you'd built, you still would have the experience and the knowledge that you gained up to this point, wouldn't you? Great question, the fool thinks. This surprisingly pragmatic advice releases the fool from all his fears, and he's able to exit the sanctuary now and face the worldly challenges once again. The fool comes to another crossroad, filled with energy, confidence, and purpose, knowing exactly where he wanted to go. But when he gets there, he comes to a dead stop. The flowering tree marked the path that he was supposed to take, but standing at that exact place was a beautiful fruit tree with another woman standing right in front of it. He's met and had relationships with women before, some far more beautiful and even alluring, but she seems different. He feels as though he's just been shot in the heart with Cupid's arrow. So shocking and so painful is his recognition of her. As he speaks with her, the feeling intensifies, like finding a missing part of himself, a part that he's been searching for his whole life long. It is clear, too, that she feels the same way. They seem to finish each other's sentences and think the same thoughts, as if an angel above has introduced their souls. Though it is plain to follow the path of the flowering tree, through it will cause some trouble for him to bring this woman with him to go somewhere else entirely. The fool knows he dare not leave her behind, and like the fruit tree, she will fulfill him. No matter how divergent from his original intent, she is now his future. He chooses her, and together they head down a whole new path together. The fool seems so close to completing everything it set out to do, back when the magician revealed all his tools to him. But his enemies seem to be the only things standing in his way. It is here that he comes across the charioteer standing in his gold and silver chariot, his black and white steeds at rest in the ocean. You seem to be a victorious warrior, the fool remarks. Tell me, what is the best way to defeat an enemy? The charioteer nods out of the ocean. Have you ever been swimming in the water and been trapped in the tide that pulls you out to sea? Have you noticed if you try to swim, says the charioteer, head on, you will go nowhere. You will swim forward, but the tide will just pull you back. It will tire you out, and soon, most likely, you will drown. The only way to win without zapping you of all your energy is to swim parallel to shore and come along slowly, diagonally. So too, when fighting in a chariot, you win by coming alongside that you wish to defeat. The warrior nods to his beast. You steeds keep the wheels turning, but it is your control and direction that brings victory. Dark and light, they must be made to draw in harmony under your guidance. The fool at this point is so impressed and even inspired. He thinks now he knows how to win his own war. He thanks the warrior. But before he leaves, the warrior stays with the fool. One more thing, he says. No victory can be won unless you have unwavering confidence in your cause. And remember this above all, victory is not the end. It is only the beginning. And the fool moves on. This video is part of a 4-part mini-series, so check out my cards where you will find the rest of this series. Bye now.